We are joined by our second place finisher in the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire, Todd Gilliland, driver of the number 4 Frontline Enterprises Toyota. And the third place finisher, Grant Quinlan, driver of the number 30 Rhett Jones Racing. I believe that's a Toyota, is it not?
Ford.
Ford for the number 30. Todd, we saw you start at the back. You told me you were going to hang out at the back for the early part of the race, and you lived up to your word. And about 30 laps to go, you started that charge to the front. Looked like that car could go pretty much wherever you wanted it to go. How was those last 30 laps for you?
Yeah, absolutely. My Frontline Enterprises Toyota Camry was perfect. I could do anything I wanted, felt like make any lane go that I was in, and that's exactly what you want here. You don't get those cars very often, and you know, second place is awesome. You know, coming from that far back, we were only up there for one restart. We came down on one of the early cautions and topped off on field. We came out in the lead on the pit stop where everyone came in, but then I don't think we got it full or something, so we had to come back down. So that kind of killed our chances to stay up there. But from beyond that, I was going 110% every lane I could, anytime, and you know, it ended up sometimes I was probably too aggressive. Could have just stayed in the line I was in, but also sometimes it worked out. So that's all the stuff I got to learn still. Hopefully I can be in victory lane next weekend. Obviously, it's cool for Harrison and working with Christian as well. All three of us are going to be at KBM next weekend. So a lot to be learned still, but overall a good race.
Grant, you spent a lot of time on the short tracks. You're a former ARCA CRA Super Series champion. You don't come and do a lot of super speedway racing, but you tend to make the most out of your opportunities. How was your day out there? It seemed like a very quiet day for the number 30 team, but 5 to go. You're up there in the top 5 knocking on the door for a win. How was your evening so far?
Yeah, that's exactly it there. We were kind of tagging along there behind Todd, and the 28, we got caught up at the beginning there with some debris on the grill, so we had to come down to get that off and kind of set us back in the pack, right? So we tagged along with them 3 and just picked away, and as the restarts went, we kept trying to get as many spots as we could and not give up anything. That was kind of the key, right? So at the end of the race there, the final restart come around, we were in position to finish 3rd.
Do we have any questions from the media here in the media center? Looks like we are clear for you guys. Congratulations on good finishes for both of you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And we are joined now by the winner of tonight's Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire, Harrison Burton. We also have winning car owner Billy Venturini. We have Harrison's Truck Series crew chief, who is here consulting and assisting this week, Mike Hillman Jr., and we are also joined by Harrison's father, former Daytona 400 winner, Jeff Burton, as well. We'll get started with you, young man. Harrison, congratulations on win number 1 here at Daytona in your first career start. It seems like you picked up on it pretty quick out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a theme going on there because. Okay, hold on. We'll figure it out here.
1, 2, 1, 2.
On the top.
Watch this.
Well, this one's
Fixed.
All right, we got it now.
We've done this more.
All right. Yeah, Mike's won more than me, so he knows how to do that. No, so I guess I have a good theme. I need to just run the first of my, career races everywhere because I won my first race at Pocono, won my first race at Daytona, so that's really cool. I just need to keep that going somehow because next time I went to Pocono didn't go quite as well. So, to win at Daytona is so special, and I wanted to, do a crazy burnout, but then I just wanted to take it in too. So I kind of did both and just kind of cruised around and looked at the fans and everyone out there, and it was really cool, a really humbling experience to win at Daytona for sure.
So we saw the 20 car up front most of the night. How difficult was it for you to work your way to the front? I know it can be a little difficult to pass with this aero package, but it seemed like you were able to work your way up there pretty easily.
Yeah, we just had a good initial start, and that was big. We got all of our people in a row, and then we got up to 4th. And then once we got to 4th, I think it was Thad was in front of me. He cleared himself down, and that left me the first car on the top. So I just went to work side drafting and kind of moving my way up one car at a time, and finally cleared my teammate. Christian, I think, was leading at the time. I cleared down on him. And that really put us in control for the rest of the race. That put us in a good spot. We had a really good pit stop. Taking fuel only was obviously the right move, and And I think that, just a whole bunch of things went into us being able to lead that many laps and still come out on top. That's harder to do at Daytona for sure.
Now, Jeff, I know you're wanting the attention and the spotlight to be on your son, and deservedly so. But as I said to you in Victory Lane, I read a quote from Richard Petty that he said when Kyle Petty won here 40 years ago, that was his most memorable moment in motorsports. And he's done some really cool things, as have you. Where does this rank on your memorable moments list?
Well, it's pretty high, but not just because it's Daytona. I mean, Daytona is, it's Daytona. It's just entrenched in NASCAR history, and winning here is so special. But more so because of the effort and the work and the dedication that it's taken to win this race. And Harrison, Mike, a group of people have worked. Brandon Lyons, a spotter, Blake Cook, who's working with Harrison. I mean, they've been working their ass off. It's not, they didn't just come down here and say, well, I wonder what Daytona's about. I mean, they came down here prepared. And, Mike has taken time away from his work at the truck. Harrison wakes up early in the morning, go to the gym, and get everything he can by going, he's still going to high school. And the work that it's taken to get this win makes it just way more special. It just didn't happen, and the dedication and, the guy, Billy and his team, they do the same thing at the shop. But watching your son or any of your children work their butts off and succeed, I think that's the most gratifying thing in the world. And that's what we saw tonight was because of a lot of hard work.
Billy Venturini, winning car owner. This is no fluke either. You were down here in January, top 4 on the leaderboard in the preseason test. I've lost track of how many consecutive poles you've won down here. I think it's 3 consecutive. And you're no stranger to Victory Lane here either. You were in Victory Lane last year. How special is it to come down here and repeat as a pole winner and a race winner?
This place it's special because of the history, and it's just a pinnacle of our sport. The thing that's tough is having the fastest race car here doesn't always reward you, but luckily the last couple of years we have been rewarded. We've had fast race cars, and then drivers have done flawless jobs. He did Harrison's job today was top notch. I mean, it's so hard for unless you're a true expert of knowing what you were watching, and like Jeff is obviously, but that's why he was kind of bragging on Harrison so much was he just did everything right. I mean, even on that last lap, he knew right where to put him on the back of his car. I mean, there's this true art to that, and the guys that are good at it are just special plate racers, and he did an awesome job. It's hard to believe it's his first time here.
Mike, just because that mic doesn't work doesn't mean you're not going to be talking. How important is what happened here this weekend for the both of you and your day job when you get back here next week with the truck?
Absolutely. We put a lot of effort into coming down here and being prepared, and this is a good warm-up, a good way to learn the racetrack, learn a little bit about drafting, come on pit road, leave pit road, and important for me to be here. I want to thank Billy and his guys for letting me come down and hang out, help Harrison, and be part of it. I see Kevin Reed's walking in, and Shannon Rush and all these guys at the shop work really, really hard to build really, really fast Venturini cars, and it was cool to sit on the pit box and get to race one tonight and take it to Victory Lane. My hat's off to how hard they work. I've been to their shop 2 or 3 times and talked about things, and this is a top-notch organization in racing, period, not just ARCA.
And we are also joined by winning crew chief Kevin Reed. And Kevin, as you reminded me earlier in the week, you're no stranger to Victory Lane here. What is this win for?
That's 4, yes.
How was your week with Harrison? The input that you had from him, how does that help your job?
Well, as a whole, I mean, we've worked as
Christian's crew chief.
Christian's crew chief.
Do you still get any credit for this?
He builds the cars. He builds them all.
builds
Hell
the
yeah, they
cars.
get credit. Now, everybody that works at Venturinis, that whole place works as one group every time I walk in there. And, I think that's my hats off to Kevin and Billy. And so, yes, Kevin gets a lot of credit because, the guys that just come in, and me and Harrison been doing our work on the side, but these guys made sure these race cars are ready to go and fast. And everybody's seen that in the test and all weekend this weekend.
So we will open the floor for questions from the media. We do have Mike floating around here. Al Pierce over in the corner.
Harrison, Al Pierce from Auto Week. You've never known a time when either your father or your uncle or your cousin was not racing. You've never been alive when somebody in your household wasn't racing. Was it just ordained that you would also race, or did it require a little bit of convincing of your dad over here?
It required some convincing. My mom and dad didn't really push me to race. They didn't push me to do anything. They pushed me to do what I wanted to do. And I got to see firsthand what racing's about, the essence of racing, guys just putting it all on the line to win a race, and what it just the community and everything. I've been around it since I was 2 weeks old, you know, and that's when I went to my first race. But you know, for me, it was just I fell in love with the sport. My parents were kind of wary of making or letting me race because they didn't want me to just to do it because my dad did it. They wanted me to do it because I wanted to do it. And I finally tugged on their pant leg because I was 4 years old enough, and I wanted to do it bad enough. I talk like it was a super smart decision, but you know I was 4, and and I don't really remember my first race. I remember. I remember my dad and I going to the racetrack and practicing, and him working me really hard and saying that if I wanted to do this, I would have to work hard, and that's been true all the way through.
I believe Jerry Jordan down here in front.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires.net. Billy, usually on the pit box, the most nervous person is Kim. They showed a picture of you on TV. What the heck was going through your mind when you?
I wanted it to be over. I wanted the rain to come. I was running first and second. And the only thing that could happen there were bad things. I was like, I want it over. I know my guys work so incredibly hard, and I know how much they put into this. Kevin he runs the shop, and I mean he's our main man at Venturini Motorsports, and him and the guys just put together terrific race cars, and I just want them rewarded for all the hard work. I mean, they work, countless hours, guys. I mean, you guys would not believe how hard these guys work. It's so awe-inspiring just to even be part of it. And I'm just lucky to have an awesome group of guys working with me, and I want them rewarded.
I think Matt Weaver had his hand up next.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. Jerry had the question that I was going to give to you about your face and your palm, but also for Harrison. I know at one point, actually 2 moments of the race. One, you had the debris on your nose, and I was curious, did that impede anything? Did your temperature spike at all?
No, you know, we kind of, I was hoping it was still on it at the end. I was hoping I still had the debris on the nose at the end. I'm not really sure, to be honest. It went up pretty quick. I noticed, I saw the debris, and I didn't know if we had it on the grill or not. And I noticed the water temp start creeping up, and it finally got to, it wasn't super high. It was about normal for a short track, and just when you're leading at Daytona, you don't want to be, gaining a ton of water temperature, right? So, I knew there was debris. It didn't really affect us in any way. It probably just helped us, in all honesty. I was pretty pumped that it was on there.
What probably didn't help you, though, is the lost mirror. What happened there, and did that create a challenge with all the cars behind you?
Yeah, I looked over, and so we had a mirror break in qualifying, and we never really had a good time to fix it. We tried to epoxy a mirror back onto the A post, and then I just saw it go like this and fall off, and I was like, oh, all right, good. So we tried to fix it. Just it's hard when you can't really get in the car after tech and everything. So that was a good thing. I had a great spotter on the roof. Brandon Lyons did an amazing job. He's a plate race beginner too, like me, and he called it like it was a 4-time 500 winner, which was cool. So he's kind of come up through the short track ranks with me. I think we won our first race together when I was 13, and to have him on board tonight is really special.
I think Jim had the next question.
Jim Mutter, motorsport.com. Harrison, when I talked to you at the ARCA test in January, you talked about getting this point in your career and what Daytona means and how much it means to the sport. Now that you get to compete on super speedways and actually have won an event here, how does it kind of feel to put that in perspective?
That's crazy, man. I've always, I always raced this short track, New Smyrna Speedway over there, and would watch the big track and be like, oh, I want to do that one day. And then finally I got old enough to do it, and the first time was a really special time. So, for me, that can't really be put into words. How much, like my dad said, and Billy and Mike and Kevin all have said, that everyone works together at Venturini and works together to make me the best driver I can be. I've been really motivated this off season and really wanting to be the best driver I could be. There's been some hard times trying to schedule school and everything, and it's been stressful, but it's all worth it when you come out and succeed. That's for sure.
We'll go Greg Engel, then Godwin Kelly.
Actually, Harrison, congratulations. Great win.
Thank you.
And I know you're excited, Dad's excited, everybody's excited. We were kind of worried about your mom because I just want to make sure she's okay. But obviously, she's your number one fan. A lot of us follow her when we don't see the races being televised. She's our only source of how you're doing in a race. So, I want to know.
Hey, Greg, all of our races are televised.
Well, the ones we can't see, we can follow along with.
10-4. I know what you're saying.
But how special is it for to have your mom be in there and be obviously your biggest fan and if we got a microphone close enough to Mom, I'd like to kind of find out Mom's take on it if it's, don't put her on the spot too bad.
Well, for me, my mom has only missed throughout when I started racing when I was 4. I'm thinking she's only missed one race my whole entire career, and I've ran a lot of races. There was times and I would run 100 races a year in quarter midgets, and there's 3 cars a day and all over the place and all over the country. And my dad was racing cup cars, so it was me and my mom traveling the country racing quarter midgets. And so, for me, she has been the only person that's been to almost every single race. And I have to give her a hard time. I actually won the only race she wasn't at Memphis, but it was for. No, I should never say that again. But and then. But no, so obviously she's been there for the highs, for the hard, for the hard fought wins, and then for the lows, for the crashes, and then to have her here once again for another high is really cool.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, Kim. What was the last few laps? What was going through your mind?
It's usually not the best place to be the leader on a green-white checker. Watching my husband, I've watched him lose several races that way, and there was a lot of rookies out there, including Harrison, and I just didn't know what they were going to do. So I just wanted them. I didn't, obviously I wanted them to win, but it was a huge relief, to be honest, that they came across and the checker flag finally flew. Yeah, it's unreal, amazing that he won. I know I believe in him. I know my husband believes in him. And everybody that works with him believes in him. Mike especially believes in him. And that's what you have to have behind you to get you centered, keep you centered enough, but also, to have the confidence to do what he did. I'm just blown away. First time out there, and he made, really good decisions out there and learned a lot.
Thank you, Kim. I think Godwin Kelly with Daytona Beach News Journal is up next.
Jeff, at what point now do you kind of let Harrison go and just do his own thing? Because you and Kim have been by his side the whole way, but he kind of showed his talent today.
He's there now. I mean, that's not working. He's there now. I don't really. You're learning quickly.
I'm on it, man. I'm telling you.
That's what I like about Harrison. You tell him once, and that's all it takes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It's always a fine line for any dad when their son's doing something that the dad did, right? And when to shut up and when to help. And I've learned that at this point in his life, I shut up a whole lot more than I talk, and I'm there more to kind of 10,000-foot view rather than second to second. And as Kim mentioned, Mike has really latched on to Harrison, and Harrison's latched on to Mike, and they talk so much. And he just doesn't he doesn't need me. He needs me on big picture stuff, things that he hasn't experienced yet. But he's got the people around him, and he's got the desire. And it's best that I say more. I say less than I do more, and because he's past the point of me teaching him the basics, and what he's learning now and what he has to do now are things that he's just going to have to learn and he's going to have to do. And my experiences aren't really going to help him with those things anymore. He's past the basics. It's no longer 101, and it's just things that he's going to have to learn the way he wants to learn them. And by the way, you know, I didn't do everything right either. You know what I mean? He's done a hell of a lot more at 18 years old than I ever did. I can promise you that. And so he's taught me that, you know, he can do it, and it's time to let him do it.
We'll go to the Rowdy Maglite radio show, then back here to Matt Weaver.
Hey, real quick, Duke's up by 8 on Virginia. Just so
there we go. That's a good night right there, huh?
Basketball update.
Hey, yeah. Solid night.
Jeff Coddington, Rowdy Maglite Racing Radio. This is kind of for Harrison and Jeff. Harrison, you've been coming here for many years as your dad was racing through the Cup Series. Your father's won here at Daytona. Now you won at Daytona. How special, extra special is that being a father-son duo winning here at Daytona now?
Well, it's really special. You know, you love your dad, you love, you know, your whole family, and to be kind of, I don't know, I'm obviously not at the same level he was when he won. He won in a Cup race, you know, and so I want to do that one day. And for me, this is a step towards that. This is me learning, me doing the best that I can do, and putting myself in position to where I might have an opportunity one day. It's really special. Don't get me wrong. This is the probably biggest day of my life, in my racing career at least. And so, yeah, I guess it's really special. It's just more. I'm always really hungry to do more. I'm never satisfied with what we've done. I'm never satisfied, you know, with winning a race. Mike was kind of joking about it in Victory Lane, but I'm already thinking about the truck race, you know, next week. And
that wasn't a joke.
Well, Mike was telling me in the Victory Lane that we should win the truck race. So, you know, I'm thinking about that, you know, and I'm thinking about you kind of give yourself a night to enjoy it, and then the next day you're game on, back on the grind.
This place is special. It just is. It has a special place in motorsports. You know, and you know, Jim France was in Victory Lane, and I mean that's cool as hell. That, you know, you get a guy like Jim France that comes down to Victory Lane to congratulate your son. I mean, what the hell? How's it get better than that, right? So, I mean, that just meant a lot, and this place is just cool. I mean, it's just anybody that's ever raced here has had their heart broke here. They've had very few have had great moments here, but everybody's had their heart broken here, and it's just it's a really, really tough race. Well, you know, I have a few regrets in my career, and two of them are here. Not winning the Daytona 500 for me, and then not taking enough time to go see my brother in Victory Lane when he won the Daytona 500. Those are two things that I regret in my racing career. And to walk in that Victory Lane tonight and be able to congratulate him is just really cool.
Back to Matt Weaver.
Harrison, I think that watching the kiss with Big Bill.
I went in, man.
That
I went
was the
straight
most
in there.
enthusiastic kiss I've seen in ARCA. Maybe just short of Brennan Poole.
Yeah, that beard's a little scruffy, though. I don't know. That's probably the last man I'll ever kiss.
We're going to run this thing some more, so I plan on you kissing him some more.
I know. Him, you know, I'll kiss him again, sure, but that's the only guy I'll ever kiss. Yeah, that's definitely the only guy I'll ever kiss. But if you let him come and do it to you, it's a little weird. You just got to attack, man. You got to go for it. So I went in, man. You got to enjoy the moment.
If we don't have any more questions from the media, I do have one more question for Kevin Reed. Kevin, you are in charge of all of the race cars over there at Venturini Motorsports. You brought 4 cars here. How difficult is it to build 4 truly competitive race cars that have a chance to come out here and compete for a win? All 4 of your cars, as I said, were number 1 through 4 in that test. They were up front all week here. How much time and dedication goes into making sure all 4 of those race cars are top-notch right off the trailer?
I mean, as a whole, I work probably 13, 14 hours a day at the shop and spend another 4 or 5 hours a day just planning so the guys can execute and get it done. And as a whole, we kind of build cars like an assembly line. Everything just goes together, and everything goes together identical. There's not any car numbers in the shop. There's not a 15, there's not a 20, 25, or a 55. Everything's put together under my guidance, and as one. And, you know, we've got great owners with Billy and Bill and Kathy and Emily, just, you know, and everything goes in, they give us everything we need. I mean, I go in Billy's office, you know, half a dozen times a day and be like, okay, we're here, or we need this, and he'll come chase me down and like, okay, you've done enough. We need to keep the piggy bank a little fuller. So at the same time, you know, I pull till he says no, and then we back off, and then we go again. So, but the main thing is keeping everybody working together and keeping it all the same.
Hey, can I add to that real quick? So, you know, Harrison's been racing against Venturini for 2 or 3 years, and when we decided to go to Venturini, we don't know, right? I mean, you don't know what the team's about, and I've spent the last 3 months walking in that shop and watching them work, and it is incredible. You hear all teams say we all work together. Well, most of them are full of crap. This team does, and we came down here to test, and like one car was faster than the other ones, and everybody worked to make the other cars as fast as the fastest one. Everybody, the whole company. And that's part of why the 20 won today, was because of all the effort that went into making every car. And you don't see that. You don't see a whole company just, wait, we got to work on that car. We got to get that car better. Okay, now we got to get that car better. And they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for the truly. I mean, it's every car is the same, and they work to make them that way. And it's pretty impressive to watch. It really, truly is.
And our final question of the night will go to Jerry Jordan.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. Harrison, in ARCA autograph session, you didn't seem too confident when I came up to you and was talking. What was going through your mind as those final laps? And
Well, the final laps at Daytona, I don't think I looked out of the windshield but like 2 times in the last 5 laps. And just mirror driving, man, looking at the 15, looking at the 4. I know the top had a run at one point. And then everything's kind of a blur, right? Because you're just so laser focused in the mirror and looking at make sure you're wrapping the line good, everything. And then the one thing that really sticks out to me is coming out of 4 and looking up and seeing that no one has a huge run coming. We're all at the top, and then thinking, did that really just happen? You know, it's like, you know something's gonna go wrong. You never get your hopes up at Daytona because you know something's just gonna go wrong. And then when it doesn't, it's just like, what? You know, like that happened. So yeah, honestly, that's the only thing that sticks out to me. I remember being very focused, and I was never really too nervous. Once I get going, I'm never nervous in a race car, really. Just really looking out in the mirror and thinking, wow, that really happened, and then crossing the line and screaming my head off for a long time.
All right, congratulations on a big win here at Daytona, Harrison. We got a couple of more things for you to take care of here, then we'll let you get back with your team and celebrate. Congratulations, everybody.
10-4. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.